Hi, this is Talos. In today's video, we're going to talk about the biological molecule of life. We're going to focus on the basic overview of the biological molecule of life along with key definitions. We're also going to look at the synthesis and the breaking of polymers along with the examples. The main focus today will be on carbohydrate. In the next video, we're going to talk about the rest of the biological molecules. There are four basic categories of the biological molecule. They are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Among these four, carbohydrate, protein, and nucleic acid are considered macromolecules based on their complexity. Macromolecules are polymers built from monomers. Polymer is a long chain of molecules consisting of similar or identical building blocks linked together by covalent bond. Covalent bond, as we know, involve the sharing of electrons between atoms. The making and the breaking of polymer is facilitated by enzymes. Enzyme is a catalyst that speeds up a chemical reaction. It is also involved in the reduction of activation energy that is needed to initiate a chemical reaction. Hydrolysis and dehydration reaction. Dehydration reaction is the process by which monomers are covalently linked together with the loss of water. In the process, one monomer contributes the hydroxyl group, which is the OH negative, and the other monomer contributes the hydrogen group, which is the H positive. Hydrolysis is basically the opposite of dehydration reaction. It involves the disassembling of polymers by adding water molecules. Hydrogen in the water molecule attaches to one monomer, and the OH in the water molecule attaches to the other monomer in the process of hydrolysis. Dehydration reaction and hydrolysis occur in digestion because most of the food we eat consists of organic material that cannot be used by cells, therefore must be broken down into usable molecules. Enzymes such as pepsins, trypsin, and pancreatic lipids attaches to polymers, breaking them down into monomers, at the same time speeding up hydrolysis. The making of polymers involve dehydration reaction. Carbohydrate, as we know, is a key source of energy. It consists of a sugar molecule along with polymer of sugar molecules. There are three categories of carbohydrates or sugar. They are monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. As you notice, the prefixes among these differ. Mono just means one, di just means two, and poly, as we said earlier, mean many. Saccharide just means sugar molecule or sugar. So now, let's dive in deeply. Monosaccharide. Monosaccharide is the simplest carbohydrate. It is also known as simple sugar. Sugars are classified based on the carbonyl group, the carbon skeleton, and the placement around the asymmetric carbon. Asymmetric carbon is a carbon that is surrounded by four atoms or group of atoms. Based on this, a sugar can be called an aldose or aldehyde sugar. An example of an aldehyde sugar is glucose. Ketose, also known as ketone sugar, is also a type of sugar, and fructose is an example. Both of these sugars are hexoses because they have 6 carbon chain or carbon molecules. In aqueous solution, these two molecules form a ring shape. A ring shape is the accurate formation. However, it can also be written in a linear form. They also differ by the placement around the asymmetric carbon. Disaccharide consists of monosaccharide linked together by glycosidic linkages. A glycosidic linkage is a covalent bond formed between two monosaccharides. Example of disaccharide is maltose. Maltose is a combination of two glucose molecules together, and it is the ingredient in a bourbon beer. Sucrose, also known as table sugar, is the most prevalent or common in today's society. Lactose is a combination of glucose and galactose. A very common condition today is lactose intolerance. People with lactose intolerance lack the enzyme lactase to break down lactose. This leads to the bacteria in the intestine breaking down lactose, as a result, causing them gas and cramps in the stomach. How do you avoid the issue of having gas or cramps in your body due to the lack of lactase? Well, I would say eat you should eat food that are already treated with latex, and take a latex when you are about to eat a dairy product, or you can just avoid eating a dairy product or anything that's pertaining to milk. Polysaccharide. Polysaccharide is a macromolecule polymer with thousands or more monosaccharides linked together by glycosidic linkages. Polysaccharide can be classified into two categories. A polysaccharide can be a storage polysaccharide or a structural polysaccharide. A storage polysaccharide involves the process of storing polysaccharide in the human body or in animal body. All living things store sugar in the form of polysaccharide. Both plants and animals are what store sugar as polysaccharide. Plant starch. Starch is a polymer of glucomonomers stored as a granule within a structure called plastid. When cells in the plant are ready to use the stored glucose or sugar, they are withdrawn from the plastid. Animals. All animals, including human, have enzymes such as amylase and pepsin to hydrolyze starch or to break it down into nutrient or into monomer that can be used by cells in the body. Vertebrates store sugar as glycogen, and these glycogens are stored in the liver or the muscle cells. So in order for you to have stored glycogen, you must always eat to be able to replenish these glycogens. Types of starch. Amylose is the simplest and it lacks branches. Aminopeptine is more complex with more branches and has 1 to 6 linkages at its branch point. Structural polysaccharide basically involve a polymer that provides support or protection for cells. Example of these polysaccharide would be cellulose. Cellulose is responsible for plant cell wall, and it is the most abundant organic compound on Earth. Cellulose is also responsible for the paper we use today, and it is the only source of carton. It has a glucomonomers that is a chain of 1 to 4 glycosylic linkages. Plants and animals. Plant cell walls are made of parallel cellulose held together to form microfibers. So microfibers are basically building material. So animals. Most animals, including human, lack the enzymes to break down cellulose. As a result, cellulose is eliminated from the GI tract by either through the feces or waste. But the presence of cellulose in the stomach causes the GI tract lining or the gastrointestinal lining to secrete mucus that allow a smooth passage of cellulose in the stomach. However, not all animals are not able to digest cellulose. Cow has the ability to digest cellulose because cow has macron and protease in a region of the stomach that breaks down cellulose into nutrients that can be used by cells. Differences between starch, and cellulose. Starch has an alpha configuration. Cellulose monomers are arranged in a beta configuration. Cellulose lacks branches, while starch has many branches. Enzymes that break down the alpha linkages in starch are unable to break down the beta linkages in cellulose. Chitin. Chitin is a type of polysaccharide that is used to build exoskeleton. So animals that use exoskeleton are that use chitin to build exoskeleton are arthropods. Example will be insect or spiders. Thanks. This is the end.